something strange is happening in the ARPG world. Diablo is expanding again. Path of Exile is evolving. Grim Dawn is getting a massive expansion. Titan Quest II is coming, and new competitors are appearing everywhere. If you love ARPGs, 2026 might be one of the best years the genre has ever seen. For years, fans of isometric action RPGs felt like the genre was moving slowly. Some legendary titles carried the torch, but the excitement that once defined the ARPG golden era seemed harder to find. But now, something is happening. 2026 might truly become the year of isometric ARPGs. Not because of one big release, but because the entire genre is evolving simultaneously. Old legends are still growing, early access projects are maturing, and new ambitious titles are entering the arena. For fans, this is something special. We are witnessing a moment where the genre isn't just surviving, it's evolving again. So, let's go through the games shaping this incredible moment for ARPGs. Let's start with one of the pillars of the genre, Path of Exile. Even after more than a decade, the game is still evolving. Today, a brand new endgame experience begins, bringing new systems and new challenges for players who thought they had already seen everything. This is something that only a few games in history have achieved. Instead of slowing down, Path of Exile keeps reinventing itself league after league, system after system. For ARPG fans, it's reassuring to see that one of the genre's greatest titles is still pushing forward. While Path of Exile 1 keeps evolving, the future is slowly forming through Path of Exile 2. The introduction of the Druid class was a huge milestone, but the journey isn't finished yet. What players are now waiting for are the remaining campaign chapters, which will finally bring the game closer to the end of early access. Every update makes the picture clearer. Path of Exile 2 isn't just a sequel. It's an attempt to redefine what a modern ARPG campaign and combat system can be. And when early access finally concludes, the impact on the genre could be enormous. Of course, no conversation about ARPGs is complete without Diablo. Diablo IV is preparing a major step forward with its upcoming expansion. Several exciting elements are on the horizon. The arrival of the Warlock class, the potential return and true evolution of the Paladin archetype, the gradual reappearance of the Prime Evils, a feat skill tree that finally looks like a real branching tree offering meaningful choices, the return of set items to shape builds, and a newly announced promising endgame structure. If these systems land successfully, Diablo IV could move closer to the depth ARPG fans have always loved. And that would be great news for the entire genre. After 25 years, something almost unbelievable happened. Diablo II Resurrected received its first expansion. With the introduction of the Warlock class, several quality-of-life improvements, and new endgame systems, the game proved once again why it remains one of the most beloved ARPGs ever made. What's even more interesting is the message behind this expansion. The story of Diablo II might not be finished yet. If this legendary title continues to evolve, it could mean that even after decades, the journey through Sanctuary still has new chapters waiting. Another ARPG that continues to grow stronger is Last Epoch. The upcoming Shattered Omen season is shaping up to be one of the most important updates for the game so far. More than just a seasonal refresh, it acts as a forerunner to the upcoming Oribis expansion, preparing players for what could be the next major stage of the game's evolution. With new systems, new challenges, and deeper progression mechanics, the developers are continuing to refine the core identity that made Last Epoch so appealing to ARPG fans in the first place. And perhaps even more exciting is what lies ahead. The future Oribis expansion is expected to introduce new classes, opening the door to entirely new playstyles and build possibilities. For a game that already built a reputation for its deep skill customization and flexible class system, this next chapter could push Last Epoch to an entirely new level. For ARPG fans watching the genre evolve in 2026, Last Epoch is another clear sign that the boom is real, and it's only getting started. Now let's move to one of the most anticipated sequels in the genre, Titan Quest II. Development is progressing steadily, and the latest edition is particularly exciting for fans. A Spirit Mastery is being introduced, finally allowing players to create proper summoner builds, something many players have been waiting for. Alongside this, the game's story continues to expand as development moves forward. Titan Quest II represents something important in today's gaming world. It proves that sometimes good things truly come slowly. And when it finally arrives, it could become a worthy successor to one of the most beloved ARPGs of all time. Another ARPG legend is preparing to evolve again. The upcoming expansion, Fangs of Asterkarn for Grim Dawn, promises to bring massive changes. Players can expect a new act, expanded endgame systems, a reworked user interface, new areas, and new progression opportunities. Grim Dawn has always been one of the deepest ARPGs available, and this expansion could give it an entirely new life. In a genre filled with strong competition, this update is ready to remind everyone why Grim Dawn still matters. Next, we have No Rest for the Wicked, a game that continues to grow steadily. Developed with a very different philosophy, this title blends ARPG mechanics with methodical combat and strong world design. And the important thing is this: the developers keep expanding the game. New systems, new content, and constant improvements are pushing the game closer to a full release. It's becoming a beautiful alternative option in the ARPG ecosystem, something that offers a different rhythm while still respecting the depth fans expect. And if development continues at this pace, it might not be long before it leaves early access. Now let's talk about a rising title that many ARPG fans are watching closely, Dragons the Banished. The game officially releases on May 16, after spending about a year in early access. During that time, it evolved dramatically. What makes it especially interesting is its deep endgame design, where players don't just chase loot, they build and manage an entire city. That level of progression is rare in the ARPG genre. If it succeeds, Dragons the Banished could become one of the most complete alternative ARPG experiences available. And as if all of that wasn't enough, a new generation of ARPGs is approaching. One of the most intriguing projects is Darkhaven, developed by veterans from the original Diablo team. The game features dynamic worlds that players can reshape, including digging terrain, draining lakes, and rebuilding ruined fortresses while exploring a dark fantasy world. The idea is ambitious, a living ARPG world that remembers what players do. Another upcoming project is Crystalfall, which is preparing an early access release with multiple acts, playable classes, trading systems, and early endgame content already planned. The developers aim to build a competitive ARPG experience focused on build diversity and progression depth. Then there is Dark West, a darker ARPG concept that mixes supernatural horror with Western themes, something rarely explored in the genre. If executed well, it could introduce a completely different atmosphere to the traditional fantasy AR. Finally, we have Ash and Rust, a project that promises a grim world shaped by destruction, survival, and brutal combat systems. It's another example of how developers are experimenting with new tones and new systems within the ARPG framework. Final thoughts: a genre that is alive again. When you look at everything happening in the ARPG world right now, one thing becomes clear. This genre is not slowing down. It's expanding. Veteran titles continue evolving. New expansions are redefining classic games. Early access projects are maturing. And entirely new ideas are entering the battlefield. For fans of isometric ARPGs, this moment is special, because for the first time in years, it truly feels like the entire genre is moving forward again. And if things continue like this, 2026 might truly become the year of ARPGs.